Your folks say that you got it in your day by 10. If you're out on a date and you're bringing home the latest sin.
Coach's Corner with Coach Heck and the infamous Coach Patrick King. You're stuck with me, man.
I'm stuck.
You are stuck with me. I ain't going anywhere.
There's a lot of people that are jealous of me for sitting here, and there's some people that there's a little sympathy going on at the same time.
There's more people that are sympathetic to you. I'm just saying that much right now. Ron, you know you're second in the state in tees.
When I go talk to Turkovich at the scores
Get a
table,
picture.
I said, get as many pictures as you can.
And you ain't that good. The scouting report said you were pretty good. You ain't that good. Oh, man. Are you kidding me? We are live at the Great Bar Louie's restaurant in beautiful South Bend / Granger, Indiana.
We are back. Last week we were in Mishawaka at the cave.
Last week we were trying not to fall out of the crow's nest as we did a show at the cave because I had to do a game that night. Mishawaka pounded mercilessly South Bend Clay. And so now we're back home. I mean, just what a great place. Bar Louie's is. The food is amazing. The atmosphere downstairs. They got 100 TVs on. There's people having a blast. And if you're looking for a place to eat, if you're looking for a place to go, stop in and see the great folks at the Great Bar Louie. Right, Patrick?
It's fantastic. The food's great. I get off my diet for one evening.
But look. I mean, I was telling Pat this, man. I'm telling Pat this. I mean, we're 68 years old.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
You ain't got to be on a diet, man. You look great.
We're trying to, except from here down, I feel pretty good.
No. So I got to just say it. And I'll say it. It's the elephant in the room because I'm the one that wears the hat all the time.
I got the hat on.
Patrick's got the hat on today. He's got some skin, some pre-skin cancerous issues that they're taking care of. So in essence, and you can tell me to shut the hell up, but in essence, you got chemo face, right?
I got chemo face. That's what we're going to call it. That's what we're going to call it. I got leprosy. People that have been to dermatologists, and this is what people our age look like when we sat out in the sun when we were teenagers.
Man, and we did too.
Sprayed sun in on our hair and baby oil. And
so, did you do sun in?
Oh yeah, I had orange hair because the German in me.
I know.
My hair would not bleach. I had orange hair.
I know 129% of that. I put a bottle of sun in one time up at a place called Tower Hill, which is in Lake Michigan. We go up there. Some chicks got sun in. I say, give me some of that. I throw a half a bottle on, and within a week, my hair is white. My dad goes through the roof, calls me every name, and he says, you are not getting a haircut. That stuff is growing out, and you're going to look stupid because, like you said, half of it turned orange.
Oh, yeah. It's just because of the pigment
orange
hair. And, you could tell the swimmers. I remember growing up, the swimmers, who they were, because they had the combination of sun in and chlorine. Their hair turned like it was white, and then it had like a tint of green to it almost.
Oh,
because of the chlorine.
I can't. So we ain't even going to talk sports. We're talking the beach, chicks when we were 17, 18, sun in.
And it's February. What are we doing?
And it's February, and it was 50 degrees out today.
I know. I did yard work today.
I did yard work yesterday.
I did yard work. I got the leaf blower out.
Such a nice day to do that.
Got the leaves and the branches picked up from that big walnut tree in our backyard.
We got to do a little business here. We got to talk about our great sponsor, two of our great sponsors, Tony Letcher with Health Markets Insurance. Whether you need help with your health insurance or Medicare, it's time you get the right coverage for the right price. Call Tony at 574-307-8882, and there he is. There's the good-looking 1995 South Bend Adams graduate right on the screen, the great Tony Letcher. And then Hahn Funeral Home, Pat Hahn, the owner. The loss of a loved one can leave you with lots of unanswered questions and stress. At Hahn Funeral Homes in Mishawaka, we're here to help. Our focus has always been on the families that we serve. Call Pat and his wonderful staff. Bugsy Hecklinski, Bugsy/Aaron, works at Hahn Funeral Home. And I'm just waiting for the day that someone walks in there and goes, Bugsy, what are you doing here? Bugsy Malone.
Bugsy Malone.
But they're located at 505 West A Street in downtown Mishawaka. And I got to say it because so many people ask me my line. What did one casket say to the other?
I know. And I know it. Do you want to say that? We can't say that for Kim.
No. What is that? You coughing?
That you coughing?
Man. So there you go.
That's our trademark.
That's our trademark. And as we were talking to the best young producer in the business before the show tonight, Scott, we had to remind him that we still are just a couple of slaps, right?
We are. Scott, are you over there? My son has been
hello
for us. Yeah, there you are. Tell us your adventures the last couple of days. Scott is an airline pilot. Where are you today?
It's the worst kept secret in the world.
Yeah, now his IRS people thought he didn't have a job, and now you put it out there. He's an airline pilot.
Yeah.
Give us the everything on the news is telling us about how California is about ready to wash into the ocean and power failures because they've had monsters out there. So you're in Bakersfield, is that right?
Yeah, Bakersfield, Central Valley.
Okay.
Not really. It's cloudy. You can kind of see it in the window over here.
Yeah. So when are you flying out?
Excuse me. Tomorrow morning we leave here at 5 local time, which is 7 DFW time. So it makes it a little bit easier to stomach.
And where are you flying to then?
DFW.
Oh, okay.
Just one flight going home, getting in my car and driving home.
So Scott is Scott is very knowledgeable and has upped the quality of our show like 1,000%. However much you can up it for a couple of slaps, because at this point in time, with you with Chemo Face and me, are we pillars of the community anymore?
Well, it's because of our Purdue segment last week. You got like 150 views on YouTube, just that 5-minute clip. So clearly the people want us to talk about Purdue. So my God, let's give it to them.
And we will. We're going to have a couple guests on today. We're going to have the great Jimmy Etherington.
We are.
An assistant coach at Lawrence North. He's been there for 100 years, and he's won state titles galore with the great Jack Kiefer. He's back coaching now. We're going to have another one of our great friends, Mr. Kim Wood, from Central Indiana, is going to call. We're going to talk a little IU hoops with him. And in between, we got some other sports stories to chat about. And one of those will be the great Purdue Boilermakers, and giving up 99 points to Northwestern. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, we're
in overtime.
There's some sarcasm involved in here, isn't
there?
Yeah,
no, and Matt and I are. I mean, I know Matt. Matt's a wonderful coach. But giving up 99?
That's not.
He graduated from Delta High School. Played when I was coaching in Wapahani, and love Matt.
And they played a bunch of defense when they were in high school. And of course, when he was playing for Coach Katie, they played defense. Yeah,
his high school coaches were, I believe, Stan Doherty. You remember Stan Doherty? Stan Doherty is a great coach. And I believe Stan Doherty and maybe Paul Keller for a while. Paul Keller took over for me a little bit at Wapahani, and then he went over to Delta. So yeah, I mean, Matt had just a great high school playing and a great high school college career, and has transitioned into a great coach. But you know what? I want to bring this up because I think this is funny as hell. I mean, next week will be a big week to talk about NFL football, right?
One more weekend of football.
Yeah, and we're off. I mean, we're off really this week because there's really nothing happening. We're gonna have a coach's kids segment here in a minute.
Yeah, and what's the biggest complaint you said right now with the football is the teams are complaining about practice facility.
Well, not teams, just the 49ers, and what the National Football League did. And by the way, I got to say, I mean, before I get into that, the music on the Black Sedan band located in Birmingham, Alabama was absolutely phenomenal tonight.
It's a good lead in for us.
No, they're great. If you like great music, pull them up on YouTube, the Black Sedan band. If you need a band, their numbers, their contact info is there. Get a hold of them. But the NFL, in all its infinite wisdom, it's kind of how I talk about the IHSAA, their infinite wisdom.
Yes.
When we were growing up as coaches, there was, I can't tell you the number of times that kids moved over to Anderson or wherever, and the IHSAA got them. I don't know if you were involved in a lot of that at Adams or Madison or anything.
No, never.
So you were the clean guy.
Yeah, I was the clean guy.
So you were Mr. Clean.
I was the one that said, yes, you can have an opportunity, but I'm not starting you.
Yeah, no. So the IHSA then will always knock on my door. Ron, you got to come down. Ronnie, you got to come down to Indy. My principals would freak out. The late, great Lanny Parker, who was my principal at Wapahani and then later spent some time on the board of the IHSA, Lanny would be nervous and he'd say, hey, heck, we got to go down again. Well, what did you do this for? I said, Lanny, relax. We'll go down. They'll slap my hand. We'll get a nice lunch downtown Indy somewhere and we'll come back, man. We'll come home. It ain't no big thing.
Right.
But so in the NFL and all of its infinite wisdom, they put the 49ers on the UNLV practice field.
Mm-hmm.
Now the UNLV practice field is synthetic turf.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So what they do is they put a layer of sod over the synthetic turf.
Oh, gee, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what they did. The hardness level, and I don't know how they measure this, but they come up with a figure. The hardness level of an NFL field when they test it before the game is a number at 78.
Okay.
What they're practicing on now is 50. So there is great disparity because the Chiefs are practicing at the Raiders. Practice facility.
Practice facility.
So there is disparity.
Right. So you've got a pro facility versus a college facility.
Yeah, and if they would have sodded this practice facility at UNLV, they sodded it a week ago. If they would have sodded it in late December when the season was over or whatever,
give it a chance to settle.
Yeah, thinking ahead, possibly thinking ahead, then I don't know, maybe it would have taken a little bit better. But I understand that totally. And you do too, because practice to us was huge.
Sure.
Now, if they were going to tell us, "Hey, we're in the regional finals and we're out of town with this," Pat, here's your practice facility. You're downstairs on a tartan floor, and you can practice there for 2 days. Kids are slipping and sliding. And Ron, you got the gym upstairs that is great, and the floor is great.
You get the game gym.
Yeah, there is a disparity.
Sure, there is. I agree. Well, and then it's interesting because back in the old days when we had to go to play at Newcastle, back in the day when I was growing up, Newcastle had one of those rubber floors.
They did. They had the tartan surface.
They had the rubber floor, and their players, they wore completely different gym shoes. Actually, they wore red ball jets. I remember that because they had different suction to them. It was suction that stuck to the rubber floor. We went over there with our Chuck Taylors, and we looked like we were on skates. Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I know, and so I don't know what they're going to do about it because they had a walkthrough today, and it was just a walkthrough. I don't know what they can do about it. They might have thought a little bit ahead, and maybe they would have had the best high school facility in Vegas that had, but maybe there's no grass fields in Vegas.
There may not be.
Because of the heat and everything, and everybody's playing on synthetic turf. But I would have wished that they would have tackled this problem before the week of practice.
The week before, right?
Yeah. Now, not coaches' kids, Pat.
We've had movement. There's a lot.
There's so many
coordinators,
moving.
defensive coordinators. Who's going where? I saw Bieniemy's name. I saw Kingsbury's, and you've got a couple coaches' kids.
Yeah. So Jay Harbaugh is Jim Harbaugh's son. Jay was the special teams coordinator at Michigan. Obviously a great job, and had a chance to go with his dad to the Chargers, but is going with Mike McDonald, who was the former defensive coordinator at Michigan, and Mike McDonald just took the Seattle Seahawks job. So Jay is saying, "Pops, I'm done with you, man.
I'm going on my own.
You making me do all the crap jobs, and hey, Jay, give me some coffee, blah, blah, blah."
Right.
So Jay Harbaugh went over with Mike McDonald and the Seahawks. And, of course, Bill Belichick being out of football. And I don't find it, and I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but I don't find it that amazing that he could not get back in the league this year. Only because he has to be the GM. He has to do it all. And I'm not sure what owners want to operate that way anymore.
20 years ago, maybe, but right now in today's world, it's not happening.
No, there's personnel departments, there's general managers, there's people that evaluate the players, and they bring them in. And if the coaches work them out and say they're not good enough, that's one thing.
Right.
But the GM, his job is the responsibility of the 53-man roster and the practice roster. And as we know, Bill Belichick wants to have his hands in all of it.
Now, there's got to be some sort of communication between the head coach and the GM, obviously. And, the most publicized ones we always see was with the Cowboys, because Jerry Jones has his hand in everything, and almost to an extreme. But you're talking about Belichick's son. Where's he going?
So Belichick had two sons coaching with him at New England. His son, Brian Belichick, is going to remain in New England. His son, Steve Belichick, is going to be the defensive coordinator at the University of Washington.
At Washington, okay. So he's going to the college route. That's interesting. So he's going to be with the new people at Washington that didn't leave, because they brought in a new coach, I believe, at Washington.
Yeah, I think it was Jed Fish, maybe, but most of the staff stayed. Now, I think this is interesting, and I was talking to a college coach today about this. That there are more college coaches now leaving the college level and going to the NFL because of the NIL and college players leaving. You recruit your butt off, you get a kid, he stays with you, you coach him hard, he doesn't like you. Now he gets into the portal and he's gone after a year or 2 years.
And you're talking football and also basketball too.
Yeah, but I'm talking about most of the college coaches now.
Yeah.
A lot of college football coaches have made their way into the NFL because of.
Didn't you see Jeff Hafley, the coach at Boston College, left to be the defensive coordinator for the Packers?
Yeah,
he left a major college football head coaching job to be a defensive coordinator in the NFL.
Yeah, and that's becoming typical now. Kingsbury left USC as the quarterback analyst. He's going to be the offensive coordinator with the Washington Commanders. But what do you know? The Washington Commanders have an offensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy, who they took from the Kansas City Chiefs.
So he's out of a job right now.
I wonder if they told him. I wonder if Bieniemy just was watching the ticker across ESPN and said, "Wait a minute, Kingsbury's got my job."
I know. What's it? Somebody hadn't made a phone call yet.
No, so I think because of college football and the NIL and kids just hopping and jumping and doing all of that, I just think there's a lot of movement, and coaches are saying I don't want to be involved in that. Now you think about coaches that are not in the Power Fives, and if the coaches are maybe in the MAC conference or not in the Power Five, and they have a great player, and they recruited that guy they spent $100,000 recruiting some player. He's good,
right?
He ain't staying at Indiana State.
No,
he's jumping into the portal.
He's going to get some more money.
He ain't staying.
Indiana State's like getting votes in the AP poll, though.
Well, yeah, no, in basketball.
In the top 25 in basketball.
I'm talking about football.
True.
But football players at Ball State
if you're
good.
If you're good at Ball State, you're going to be you're done.
If you're good at Toledo, you're done.
You're going to go try it someplace else.
Yeah, now Miami of Ohio still has that good enough name, and I don't know, maybe they're retaining more than some of those other MAC schools, but I wouldn't want to be a head coach at a MAC school because there's no from year to year you got the same players or thinking you do.
The continuity is gone.
That's the word I was looking for. Beautiful. Hey, Scott, why don't you do some commercials? We're going to get Jimmy Etherington on the line here, and we'll talk some high school hoops in Indianapolis.
Sounds good to me.
All right, man.
All right. We'll be right back in a second. Before we go, I'll tell you guys about magicmind.com /Ron. Use the code Ron for 20% off.
I was talking to your dad about
we had our Magic Mind moment.
He did. He had a magic mind
That was
moment.
a chemo moment.
No, what? No, okay. I'm going to cut you some shit today because you're right. It's a chemo moment.
We'll blame it on the chemo.
We're going to blame it on the chemo skin. All right. Magic mind, man.
So
/Ron, 20% off.
there you go. And then Malreg, which is our apparel partner.
And I can get some
I
of it.
don't have my hoodie on today. I've got my Purdue hoodie on today, but they make good stuff. So use our code IND Coach's Corner. It's 10% off. Free shipping basically. And then last thing before we go, if you're watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button on the video. It helps us get to the front of the homepage on YouTube, and then subscribe to the channel while you're at it. And drop a comment in the chat. Seriously, we want to hear feedback from everybody. It adds to the discussion, so we can keep talking and deliver what you guys want to hear. So do that, and we will be right back.
Andy Kern is a real estate broker with Weichert Realtors, Jim Dunfee and Associates. The office is locally owned but has big company resources behind it that many smaller real estate offices just don't have. Whether you're selling your fifth house or buying your starter home, Andy can help. He has 6 years of real estate experience and is a lifelong St. Joe County resident. Jim Dunfee and Associates has decades of local experience. Call or text broker Andy Kern at 574-386-4479 for great local service. He is the Colonel. James Carpenter is a real estate broker with Weichert Realtors, Jim Dunfee and Associates. The office is locally owned, but it has big company resources behind it that many smaller real estate offices just don't have. Whether you're selling your fifth house or buying your starter home, James can help. James is a South Bend lifer and has 6 years of real estate experience. Jim Dunfee and Associates has decades of local experience. Call or text broker Jim Carpenter at 574-292-CARP. That's 292-2277 for great local service. Frick's Driving School has been named the best driving school in Michiana. Frick's was started in 1960 and is located on Edison Road in Mishawaka. If your child is 15, you can get them started at Frick's. There are multiple instructions available for your driving lessons. Check out the broadcastsport.net main page and click on the Frick's icon to get more information. There you can find out more information and instructions to enroll your new driver. Frick's Driving School, a proud sponsor of Coach's Corner on broadcastsport.net.
Kaurich Chiropractic and Wellness Center. When your body needs somebody to help.
Hello, I'm Dr. Kaurich, and I want to invite you to stop by my office on Cleveland Road in South Bend, just east of Portage Avenue. I've been serving Michiana for over 20 years, specializing in back pain, neck pain, headaches, naturally with gentle chiropractic care. Come see me for a free consultation.
Kaurich Chiropractic and Wellness Center. When your body needs somebody to help.
Oh, man. Are you kidding me? We are back, and you have to mute this now so
We're
we can.
good. Jimmy should be on there. Right
Jimmy, can you hear me, buddy?
I can, yeah.
This is the
Perfect.
great, and we talked about Jimmy. We promoted you a little bit before the show. I'm on with the greatest friend and coach that I know, the great Patrick King, and what we said was, your career is unbelievable. The amount of years that you spent, first of all, at Eastbrook, and this is amazing that I remember this because I can't tell you what I had for breakfast. Eastbrook, Pendleton Heights, right?
MagicMind.com/Ron.
There you go.
Pendleton Heights, right?
Yep.
And then LN, right?
Correct.
The longtime head coach, Jack Kiefer, you were Jack Kiefer. You were Jack Kiefer's right-hand guy, and you did everything for Jack. And then you switched over to maybe helping the girls for a minute. You coached a little bit at LaPel in the junior high. Now you're back as the varsity assistant at LN. LN is, I don't know, maybe 17 or 18-1. You guys have a great, great team again this year. Talk about getting back into it and all of the coaching. I forgot about one. Forgot about you helping me at the Wigwam for a year. The last year the Wigwam was in existence.
You did? Yeah, that was one of the best years. And then you forgot a Lawrence Central a couple of years in there.
Yes.
I put with Kyle Guy.
Yes, exactly. I mean, first of all, talk about your experiences at Lawrence North in the old days with Jack and the great players that you had?
Well, I was with him for 17 years, I think. And, we just had a lot of fabulous players, a lot of fabulous kids. We were so fortunate most of those years. Our best players were our best kids. And, that's a great recipe to win. And Jack was kind of a Pied Piper to coaches and players. We just had great staffs, fun. Nobody probably put more time in than we did. And besides the X and O and all that stuff that he was so great at, motivating was probably his strongest suit. And we were in that gym so many hours. In the summer, it'd be like 6 in the morning, 6:30 workouts till about 8 at night, and camp in there. And but his greatest gift, I thought, was he loved the game so much, and he could make the kids love it. We didn't have burnout. That was his greatest gift. He kind of made them love it like he did. And as a result, we had a lot of great teams.
And really his greatest asset was to put together a great staff and then let you guys coach along the way. So many head coaches, they become power hungry and it has to always be them. But he let you guys coach, right?
He did. I'd been a head coach in baseball and girls basketball prior to helping him, and I thought I was a good coach, but I didn't know how to delegate. And the thing was, he was really astute at finding something you'd be good at, or just connecting you with a couple players. We all took a couple players aside every year. There'd be 5 or 6 of us and work with them. And he was really good at pairing up who worked with who, and he trusted you. That was the big thing. When I was a head coach, I didn't trust people to do as well as I did. And that's what I learned from him. He was really good at that.
Tell us a couple of the people that you or a couple of the players that you worked with that were just great players, man.
Chris Hill would come to mind.
He was good.
Yeah.
Michigan State.
Satiny smooth shooter and great passer. And then I had him in football as a freshman. I coached football there for 14 years. And I'd moved down to freshman because it was getting hard to coach both the time and the summer, especially. And the first year on freshman football coach, maybe it was the second year, Chris Hill was my quarterback, and I had a receiver named Courtney Roby. He ended up transferring to North Central, but he is IU's all-time leading receiver and has a Super Bowl ring as a punt returner. Well, I had those 2 guys, and we're running back named Akeem Abdullah. So Chris and I kind of formed a bond during that football season, his freshman year. And of course, we'd had him in camp when he was in junior high. We ran an all summer camp. It was 8 weeks, 8 to 10 weeks. And, his thing defensively, he wasn't the quickest of foot player that I ever coached, but he made himself a great defender. And we just spent a lot of time on those kind of things and how to free himself, get open, that kind of thing, kind of like Alford used to do. Chris was that kind of player. So just the smartest kid I ever coached. He and probably Conley were too.
So where does Mike Conley fit on that list? He's still playing in the NBA now. A couple, 3 state champions for the Wildcats. Yeah. Where does he fit on that list?
Well, if you coach 20 lifetimes, you'd never coach a player as smart as he was and as dedicated. And he was a quiet kind of player in the locker room, but he did a lot of preventative discipline and a lot of preventative coaching for us. He made sure everybody's on the same page. The one thing that was just unbelievable with Conley, during the Conley years, we were in a lot of big games, as you know. During the state tournament, we ran a lot of shootouts that we were on ESPN, and we didn't have to call timeouts when he was on the floor. He knew when to slow things down, get things organized. You hear that, cliche, a coach on the floor. Well, he was, and I, since that time, even prior, I look at point guards in Indiana. Who would I trade Mike for? And there aren't any. I would take him every time, no matter who you compare him to.
Ralph worked with the bigs, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
And we had a coach prior to Ralph named Ralph Scott, who you're talking about.
Yes.
Did a great job with our post players. And then Dave Irwin was kind of the grandfather of all of us on the morning workouts. We were the first ones in Marion County doing those things. And Dave was also an outstanding track coach with all kinds of individual champions in the high jump, long jump, relays, that hurdles. Dave could coach anything, and he taught us how to coach as well. You know, I mean, Dave Irwin could have been a head coach in any sport and done well, but he was with Jack forever as well.
And when you talk about some of the bigs that were there, I mean, obviously Greg Oden comes to mind,
Right.
And then before him, Eric Montrose.
Yeah.
And then
who we just lost.
Oh, broke my heart when I heard that, because
he was the greatest guy.
Because we all grew up with Eric Montrose, right, Pat?
Late 80s, early 90s. Yep.
Yeah. And then Big John. Big John Stewart, right?
Yep. So I coached, I was there right after Eric graduated, but got to know him really well we would work Dean Smith's camp every summer in Chapel Hill, and Eric lived there. So Jack and I would get to spend a lot of time with him. And the thing about him, he spent, ironically, most of his post-NBA life, he was the color for the Tar Heel Network, and then raising money for cancer charities.
Oh, man.
That's what he spent his life doing, and nobody enjoyed being a dad more than Eric Montrose.
Oh, that's tough.
Tell you, if you ever get a chance, YouTube Eric's eulogy for Dean Smith, and that'll tell you all you need to know about Dean Smith and Eric. It's about a 7-minute thing.
I will do that. As a matter of fact, I will do that. And what about Big John Stewart? Big John was a kid that moved over, I believe, from Carmel. Yeah. I mean, really, he was big, but he was behind the 8 ball when it came to skills. And Ralph kind of took him under his wing, Ralph Scott. And he became a force, a scholarship to Kentucky, right?
Yeah, he was setting the bench on Carmel's JV team as a sophomore, and he was just as down and out as a kid could get. He didn't like school there, had some academic trouble, but he was a smart kid. He had to make up a lot of credits when we got him. But from the day he walked in the Lawrence North, 15 months later, he's got a full ride to play basketball at Kentucky for Tubby Smith. And our track coach taught him how to run, Bob Potter. We had a great staff in track. We got him a dietitian, and we threw him the ball. We threw him the ball. He had great hands.
He was a big kid. That's true.
And you couldn't chastise John at all. About the meanest thing you'd say to John is, "Hey, do you know how doggone good you'd be if you just do this?" That's as much as he could take. And we just got him the ball and fed it to him. He played with a bunch of great guys, Chris Hill being one of them. And it was as tight a team as I've ever been around. And he was a comedian, funny kid, wanted to be a special ed teacher, and I think he would have after his NBA days. Yeah.
So was it the semi-state or the regional game at Bloomington South that he went down?
We were playing Bloomington South at Columbus North, and it was the regional. Yeah, that was when they had the one night regional, and I've been in that gym a couple times since. It's hard to go in there, but just a tragic thing.
He had a cardiac arrest on the floor, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was he had Marfan syndrome that Hank Gathers had.
Oh, man.
Of course, as a result of that, all the schools in Marion County now have the machine, the defibrillators.
The AEDs.
Yeah. And you can also see, that condition is not detectable in a normal physical the IHSA requires. But there's a fund now for kids that kind of fit that profile. They can get that done. They
have to take an echocardiogram now, and so there was some talk about the IHSAA because there were a number of players that went down, and there was some talk about the IHSAA making that mandating that on the physical, but I think the prohibitive financial responsibility is the reason why it wasn't. But I say, IHSA got money everywhere, man. Come on. But I say if it can save one life, it's worth it, right?
Yeah. And through the years, we'll get notified every now and then that they've found one. There's been several in Marion County that they've had it detected, and so you just always wonder why something has to happen like that. But I guess there can be some positive come out of it. But he's very missed.
Yeah, no, and I don't even know if you call it the privilege or it was bad scheduling to play against him, because we had no answer. Obviously, we had a 6'4" kid named Ryan King that ended up playing football at Indiana State, playing against him. But Big John he kept the ball elevated. He kept those elbows out. Yeah. I mean, Ralph taught him all of the big man moves, and he was a man child, man.
Yeah, well, that game we played at your place, I don't know if I ever told you the story, but, you guys were with us for a long time in that game.
Yes.
And sometimes your guys would put pressure on us after a defensive rebound in the backcourt. Well, sometimes you get it. Sometimes we'd bust through it. And we had some early shots, like 3-on-2s, 3-on-4s, 4-on-3s, that kind of thing. And we weren't hitting them. So Jack, towards the end of the first half, says, "Let's wait for John."
Just wait for John to get across. Thanks, Jack. Yeah.
Let's wait for John.
Great coaching.
And none of our players were selfish. We had a great shooter, Andy Means, who walked on at Duke and played there. And then we had Chris, but we're not hitting these shots. And then he gets more emphatic about it at halftime. He wants the ball. He wants it a half-court game, and he wants it in the jump. Well, early in the third quarter, I don't know if you remember this, he calls a timeout because it's not happening. And our huddle's out on the Indian, is where the huddle was, right at midcourt. And he told those two guys, "I'll break your arms if you shoot any more."
So I don't know if I ever told you this. I was hey guys, jack it up. You're open. No, leave John back at the other end. Keep shooting, man.
Yeah. Well, so they got it to him. He ended up, 20-some.
Oh, he was great.
And that next week they didn't want to shoot. They're scared. So Ralph and I told him, "Hey, he doesn't sub. We'll get you back in. Don't worry about him."
Yeah, no, that's where you guys were great as a coaching staff, because you could take a kid aside and the kid could. Yeah. I mean, maybe Jack could be on their ass every now and then, but you could say, "Hey, just play. Coach really loves you," and stuff like that.
That's where you got to translate that.
Always that way. And then there were arguments on our coaching staff in the office. It was fun. I'm getting under coach's nerves sometimes.
No, I believe that.
I never had a boring day with him.
No, and I think and I mean, how's Jack's health now? How is he?
It's great. In fact, Rhonda and I went down Brown County. They bought a place, a cabin that it's a nice house. And I thought, I was really worried when he quit that he'd miss it so much, because. And, he's doing fine. He's really handy, and he's blazed trails down on property he owns, and we rode on his gator. And
so cool.
Had a bonfire and all this stuff. And he would probably live down there year round if Jan would let him. Yeah.
So that story about him telling those guys not to shoot, that reminds me when we were playing DeKalb in the Hall of Fame tournaments in Newcastle, and Luke Recker was playing for DeKalb. And DeKalb, was beating us, I don't know, up 8, up 9 in the fourth quarter with about 6 minutes left. And Luke had taken a couple shots, and he made one of them. He missed another one. We go down, we make a 3. We're down like 7. And Luke runs by, and I said, "Luke," I said, "every state sports writer's here. Keep shooting, man. I mean, you got to keep shooting. It doesn't matter if you beat us. You got to keep shooting."
That's right.
Luke came down 3 or 4 more times and fired some crazy ass shots. And we actually ended up beating DeKalb.
Oh, I bet Hawkins really appreciated it.
Well, I was a little more subtle than just screaming it, but I did tell little. I told Cliffy about that later. All right, so tell us about because you're back in the game now and you're back doing it. You're not teaching anymore. You're a grandfather. You have just beautiful grandkids. But tell us about the power in Central Indiana. Pat does a lot of stuff with strength of schedules and stuff like that. Who are the best teams in Central Indiana?
Fishers, Ben Davis, us, Carmel right now.
Yeah, Carmel was struggling for a long time, right?
Yeah. They, I think he switched his lineup a little bit, and I think, changed their style of play. They've always been a pack line defensive team that made you really work hard to get every kind of good look. But now they're being pretty deliberate offensively. In fact, they probably, if you had a shot clock, we might have won that game the other night. But I think teams are going to have to start playing them different. You can't try to beat them quickly and shoot quick, and you can't spend 30% of the time on defense. That's what they're doing to people. But they're really good. I hear Westfield's really good, but I haven't seen them. I saw them this summer, and they were really good, really athletic, long. I think, let's see, who else did I mention? Oh, Addicts. Crispus Addicts won the Hall of Fame tournament. They're in our sectional. We beat them a couple points at home. We squandered a lead late.
Have you played Noblesville yet? Because they're ranked number 1 in the Sagarin ratings in your class.
I know. No, I saw them play in a couple shootouts we were in this summer. They're coached, just really well. And all their guys can shoot, pass, score. Ball moves really well. But we wouldn't see them till the state championship game, I think. And the North this year's tougher than normal with most of those teams I mentioned to you, with the exception of Addicts, will go through the North. Cathedral's really good, and I'm starting to watch a lot of film on them. We don't play them during the season, but they're in our sectional. So there'll be 3 top 10 teams in our sectional for sure. North Central is really strong too that way as far as explosiveness. I'm trying to think of I don't know down south who's the best, but Central Indiana, Kokomo, obviously. Is really
well,
good.
And we would be remiss if we didn't say you were a Kokomo guy. You grew up in Kokomo. You were a Kokomo guy, right?
Yeah, my dad was the ticket manager there. Almost 40 years, and that's before you had assistant ADs. So the ticket manager was the assistant AD. He set up all the events, and so I grew up in Memorial Gym and Couchfield, and was watching film, on when it was on Reel on Saturday mornings when Coach McNulty would have the team in there, and Coach Hamilton, I'd sneak in there and watch film, and of course I was a ball boy and all that stuff. So that's where I grew up on that North Central Conference, and there was nothing like it.
And my guy sitting next to me, Pat King, Pat played at Anderson. So Pat grew up in the North Central Conference as a youngster too, and played with just phenomenal players, right, Pat?
Had a couple pretty good players. Yeah, I remember Coach McNulty. Matter of fact, I played against his son, Brad. He was a couple years older than me.
Brad was a fabulous passer.
Yeah.
Led the state in assists for 2 years. Then, Pat, he got hurt his senior year playing Elkhart Central, tore his knee up, and Purdue honored his scholarship as a grad assistant type guy. He started coaching because he and Bruce Parkinson both went there. They were signed, and that was going to be the guard duo.
Right.
And, of course, Coach McNulty was an All-American there. And, interesting story about him. He used to tell us he wasn't even planning on going to college. He grew up, it's now Lewis Cass, but it was young America, some little town in there.
Right.
And Purdue saw him, and so they offer him a scholarship, and he shows up. What's the gymnasium that they played in before Mackey, right next door to it? Anyway, his dad drops him off there, and the coach meets him. He's got 2 grocery bags. He didn't have a suitcase. He had 2 grocery bags full of clothes. That's it. And his tuition's all paid, but he doesn't have any spending money. So he spent his 4 years there waiting tables in a fraternity to make spending money while he's an All-American, the last year or 2 of that. I mean, that would never happen today because you'd have NIL money. But here he is, the best player on campus, and he's waiting tables. And he was a tough-as-nose coach, fun to play for. And he was my baseball coach as well, great baseball coach. We had a great baseball team.
Yeah, the old arena there at Lafayette at Purdue is called Lambert Fieldhouse.
Yep. Yeah, that's it. That's where he played.
And that's now I think they have their indoor track facilities there.
Right.
Hey, listen, man, we got to jump here because we're up against it. We got another caller calling in. But Jimmy, listen to me, man. You are the absolute best, and the thing that I love about it is you're an assistant coach, and now you're telling me it's February 5th that you're already starting to watch film on sectional opponents. I know the head coach has not told you to do that, but that's just what you do on your own because you know that's coming up, right?
Yeah, 4 nights a week you watch a sectional regional opponent only. I watch one every night. Yeah,
that's amazing. Your beautiful wife Rhonda doing good, man.
She's doing great. Work's going good. She's enjoying the grandbabies, and everything's good. She's been going to a lot of basketball games because my son is. He's the girls' assistant coach in LN. They were really good. So we were down there a lot.
Yeah. Well, listen, please give my best to everybody. Please give my best to Ralph and Jack when you see him and your beautiful wife. And we will get, I promise you, we've tried this a couple of times and it hadn't worked out, but we will get together. You're the best, man. I love you, Jimmy.
All right. See you.
All right. See you, Jim.
All right, man.
All right. Take care.
Okay.
That is the best. So how would you like to have a coach like that says,
that'd be fantastic.
That says, hey, I'm going to watch the sectional opponent tonight. And you don't even have to tell them.
That's just the way it is.
Hey,
so I tell you what, we're going to try to get hold of you. Want to? We're going to do some of our work here, and then what you and I are going to do our Fricks Road Team of the Week. And while Heck's getting on the phone, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so let me hit Hahn Funeral Home real quickly here. Man, they stand ready to meet your needs and exceed your expectations when selecting a funeral home. They have an experienced staff of funeral directors. Please call Pat Hahn at 574-255 when that time happens, when you lose a loved one, and they make things real easy on you. Tony Letcher, obviously, is just one of our main sponsors with Health Markets Insurance. Whether you need help with your health insurance or Medicare, please get a hold of Tony at tletcher.com. I'm going to do some work. You guys go ahead and get your Fricks game of the week on, man. I can't wait to see the little car.
Scott,
hey, before we hit that, I have a viewer text in on the Black Sedan Band text line that we've got. If you want to text us, it's down there in the bottom right corner, or if you're listening and you want to text us a question for next week, it's 214-945-4134. This comes from Chad in North Carolina, and he says, we are apparently a little slow down here in North Carolina, but we just pieced together that Scott, your new producer, is Pat's son. Great job, Pat, on raising an awesome son. So I thought, oh, man, wow, Chad, that's great. I'm glad the check cleared.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, who said that?
On? No, and obviously Chad doesn't know that Pat's wife Becky raised you, and Pat was out coaching.
I was in the gym, so we need to send that message on to the wife. Thank you very much. That's good. We're gonna get a Heck call. So that's great.
All right, so we're Heck's getting on the phone.
You and I are gonna talk.
Text us down there at the bottom, and then we're gonna hit the Fricks Road Team of the Week.
Road Team of the Week this week. Fricks is our one of our sponsors. You can talk to Doug or you can talk to Joe Lynn at 574-256-0650. See, really the only driving school here in town. They're looking for people to drive. If your kids are 15, make sure you can get them a call and you can sign them up. But my Fricks Road Teams of the Week, I'm actually going to do 2 of them in college basketball. And I'm still not even going to get out of the state because the conference seasons here have been really good. Friday night, while I was busy doing a ball game, you had a bunch of ball games this week. I did 8 basketball games this week, and had a good time doing those. But Friday night, while I was busy doing a high school game, Butler was at Creighton, and Butler won a huge conference game, 99-98, another defensive battle. Down at Creighton University. So I picked Butler as one of my road teams of the week, and Butler's getting better.
Omaha is the city you're thinking of.
They are above 500.
They're getting better because they got the great Thad Matta. Come on, man.
That things are starting to buy in, and don't be surprised if they have a good tournament that they might be, a 10 or 11 seed come tournament time. You never know. And then this weekend, you guys saw it. Purdue, for first place in the Big Ten, went to Wisconsin and beat Wisconsin 75-69, along with their weeknight game they had with Northwestern, that overtime game, 105-99.
Come on, Matt, giving up 99.
So there's that. And Scott,
It was overtime.
we can go from that. And if we want to go right into Heck's little Purdue thing, have at it, buddy.
All right, here we go. Heck, say something nice about Purdue. Ready?
Here's what I'm going to say about Purdue, because I get chastised on the show that I don't say enough good things about Purdue. Poor Zach Edey. It's the jump ball against Wisconsin, at Wisconsin, and the guy who's jumping with him grabs his arm so Zach cannot extend his arm up to get the tip. Now, come on, man. Zach Edey gets beat up every night. He's big. He's strong. He can take it. But not the arm on a jump ball.
We used to do that at the YMCA.
I know, but this is major college basketball. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure Scott's got a picture of it right there. The cat grabbing Zach's arm.
Opening tip.
Look at come on. But Zach's a lot nicer than I am, because I know I would have said something, and I think we have another clip where Zach is blocking a shot. And back in the day on the playgrounds, if we blocked a shot, this is famous. We would just look at the dude and say, "Get that shit out of here, man! Don't bring that shit in here. Get that out of here." I got my stuff blocked a lot, and they said it to me.
Yeah, that was just
every once in a while when I got my elevation up to about 2.5 inches.
I could jump up. I worked hard. Finally, by my senior year, I could jump over the Anderson phone book.
There you go. And we got a block shot like right there. Get that out of here.
My vertical is legendary.
There it is. All right, so we got the great Kim Wood on the phone here, right? Kim, are you there?
I am.
Kim,
how are you guys?
Kim is one of our guys.
Oh, we are fantastic.
From Anderson, Central Indiana. He's one of us, man. He's a great just a great person, number one, and number two, he's a sports guy, man.
I've known Kim since we were kids, teenagers.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear any of those stories either about Edgewood Country Club.
I remember going over to your parents' house there on Maryland Drive a long time
Maryland
ago.
Drive.
Yep. Back in the day.
I got to see Pat play, and I got to see Heck coach.
And we went over to
which one was better? Come on. Which one was better? Watching Pat play or me coach? No, stop.
Roy Taylor was better.
Yeah, watching Roy Taylor play, right?
Kim, tell him the truth. The best games we ever had were at down the street at Dickman Gardens. Remember that?
Yep. Little 8.5-foot goal, man. We had some battles.
Yes, we did.
Man, those days are
8.5-foot goal, and you could not dunk.
A lot of finger rolls, right? A lot of George Gervin finger rolls.
No, you had to just beat the heck out of people, and you had to get it on the board. Otherwise, it was blocked.
That is so cool.
But I want to say this: you can't complain anything about somebody grabbing Zach Edey when the free throws are 46-8 in the Northwestern game.
Well, no, I don't say, and I don't condone that, but I do condone it on the jump ball. When they grab your arm and you can't take your arm up to hit the jump ball, that's the only time. Because I was a big, Pat was a big. We beat people up. We got beat up. But that's how it was on the block. That's how it is.
We played below the rim.
Yeah, that's how it is.
How long would you have lasted a 46-8? Chris made it to the last second and a half. I'm saying you would have got teed up with about 10 minutes to go.
No, yeah.
I've got a graphic to show on the screen that kind of puts that narrative to bed, because the last 10 free throws in overtime were all intentional fouls or techs.
So
and then there's a great site. It's called CBB Analytics. I'm going to share the screen right now. You can't see it, obviously, but the people that are watching can see it. Oh crap! I gotta find it. Where to go? Here it is.
Facebook tomorrow.
Kim, I have a computer geek for a son, by the way.
Well, it sounds like
So
it. I wish I was that way.
Purdue's free throw attempt rate is 42%, and their opponent attempt rate is 24%. Northwestern is at the complete opposite side, meaning Northwestern fouls the most and they do not shoot free throws. So Chris Collins said he has 3 big guys that have 5 fouls apiece. I think all 3 of their bigs had 4 fouls.
That sounds like the Bulls back in the 90s.
Yeah. Going to use them.
So they put the Jordan rules on Zach Edey.
So no, and so here's the deal. How classy was that when Chris got the boot that he shakes Matt Painter's hand and he shakes Zach Edey's hand? Man, I think that was so cool. He got fined $5,000 for that,
They
right?
say he got fined today.
Oh man, just go to the Anderson Casino and make $5,000 and pay off your debt. Hey Kim, so I want to talk to you because I know, I mean, obviously you are a Hanover College graduate. You're just a great Anderson Indian fan, but you're also a great Indiana University fan, right?
Correct.
I
actually graduated from there.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were breaking down film with the great fat warrior John Collier at Hanover College your whole life, man.
No, 2 years there and 2.5 in Bloomington.
Oh, okay. Okay. So talk to me about IU, about Mike Woodson and all that stuff now. What do you think?
Well, I'm very disappointed. I tell people this is Archie Miller version 2, and I don't see any difference. They don't do the things you need to win, and they don't have a leader, and they got some talent, but they just can't put it together.
So one of the things that I studied today was Mike Woodson was a lifer in the NBA, and there were certain NBA coaches or NBA players that went to the college game, and they never really understood how to deal with a college kid because they were NBA guys and they were men. So they didn't coach or deal with kids like you would in college. And a couple of these names you'll know. Eddie Jordan was the head coach of Rutgers. He lasted 3 years. Avery Johnson was at Alabama. He ended up getting fired. Sidney Lowe was an NBA player. He got fired at North Carolina State. Mike Dunleavy got fired at Tulane. And the great Pat Ewing, it was a disaster at Georgetown. And so there was just a lot of comments relative to NBA guys don't know how to develop relationships with college players the way that you need to develop those relationships. And a lot of that was said about Woody too.
And it's compounded now with NIL and transfers. So that's a pretty informative list there of guys that haven't been able to get the job done. Yeah, and then when you look at Trace Jackson Davis, who was an Archie Miller guy, and the reason Mike gets him for his first 2 years there, and what a player to have to try and salvage the program with Trace Jackson Davis. But there's no Trace Jackson Davis, and there's no Jalen Hood Schifrino.
Schifrino stays 1 year.
Yeah, with that great game against Purdue, because Purdue can't take his right hand away, and he goes right and scores 37 or 36, whatever it was. But I just don't know. It's a bad loss to Penn State. He's had a couple of deals where players have just kind of embarrassed themselves and got technicals. That's kind of the part of me that we all had players that could act bad, but we always, and if they did act bad, we tried to discipline them so everybody else could see that. But I don't see that happening at IU right now.
No, they don't have any of that at all. It's pretty discouraging, and I don't want them to be back in the buyout mode again, because you can't continue to do that. It's a vicious circle.
Well, so I say, and I tell Pat this all the time, Dustin May was a manager, and he's doing great at Florida Atlantic, I want to say. And I say
Dusty.
Yeah, Dusty May. And so what's the over?
Dustin's his brother.
When they're going to contact him, is it 2 years, or is it over 2 years, or is it under 2 years? What do you think?
I don't know. The article Yeah, it might be under. The article I read, Kim, today was talking about the issue they have right now is it Dolan, the AD?
Scott Dolson.
Scott Dolson.
Dolson.
Dolson did not hire Woody.
Quinn Buckner did.
Quinn Buckner hired him. That was his job. So this is a Quinn Buckner hire. So does that complicate the issue, or is this where Buckner has to go to have a sit down with Woody and say, look, here's what's going on here, and here's what we're going to have to do. You're going to have to step aside for the best thing for the program, and go from there. You know,
as a couple big egos, you're trying to get together and trying to solve something, and
Yeah.
I don't see that happening.
I think you're right, because to me, Quinn Buckner is he is basically the right hand of the Bobby Knight era. He was the Bobby Knight era from the '76 team. So, what do you go after Buckner and say, hey, you got to fix this?
Well, and if I'm Quinn Buckner, I say,
who does that?
If I'm Quinn Buckner, I say, man, I can't fix this, man. We got the guy in there. He's had 3 years. Against Penn State, there wasn't a sellout. There's always a sellout at IU. Fans left with 3 minutes left in the game. This isn't L.A. We're not the Dodgers, man. Come on.
Well, and they go to Ohio State tomorrow night with another team that's struggling right now. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a tough decision, but I think somebody's going to have to get Buckner and Tom and said, hey, you're going to have to do the dirty work. You got him in here.
Yeah.
You're going to have to do the dirty work. Figure out how to get him out of here.
Well, and I don't want to. Is it fixable, Kim? In your estimation, is it fixable? Because Mike Woodson is a name at Indiana University.
No, I don't think he's up to the task. I really don't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He sometimes does still coach like he's in the NBA.
Yeah, no, a lot of isolation, a lot of individual, not a lot of team stuff. But and that's unfortunate because
the article,
when he came in,
the article I read too said that the IU team right now definitely resembles his Knicks teams that he had in New York. With a lot of, as you just mentioned, a lot of what I call Carmelo ball, isolation ball.
Here's my question, then, Pat. Where the hell's Carmelo?
Well,
if they're the Knicks teams, where's his Carmelo?
He doesn't. Well, it was Hood Schifino.
Yeah, well, he took
the next train out of town.
No. He took the Yellowstone train, right? Woody?
Yeah.
You watch Yellowstone, right?
No, I used to, not anymore.
No, the Yellowstone train is the place in Wyoming or something where they take them and dump them, man. Hey, Kim, what about the Anderson Indians, man? They're having a little bit of a renaissance, right?
Yeah, they're 16-4. They've lost one game in the conference in the last 2.5 years. So
oh man,
it's pretty enjoyable. He's got them doing the right things.
Now I know it's not the Wigwam, man, and it will never ever be the Wigwam. And Pat's sitting to my right, he lived in the Wigwam, right. And I lived in the Wigwam.
Well, you and I grew up there.
Yeah.
Yep.
But when I went and I was in town, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago maybe, I took some stuff to Aaron Boyd because I was trying to get rid of some of my Anderson stuff. And Aaron's the girls' coach. I said, Aaron, here, hang this in your office. Man, you were a great Indian. And when I walked in the gym, they are and I will give them credit. They're really trying with the red and green, and they're trying to make that seem like it's a little bit of a home deal for the Anderson teams, right?
Yes, they are. I like the facility. It's they spiffed it up really nice, and we got a bit of a home court advantage.
Yeah, no, and that field house that you have out there, it's amazing. Football field got AstroTurf, man. You got baseball fields back there, right?
Yeah, we've really brightened that place up out there. People should go and check it out.
Yeah. So how's your beautiful wife Donna doing?
Oh, she's fine. She's fine. She's still a fan.
Yeah, no, she's the biggest fan. Now you got her a clipboard for the games, right?
Oh, she keeps her own stats because our paper won't do it.
I saw that. I remember I was there. I think I came there right before Christmas and had said hi to you. And I think it was the Noblesville game. And,
yes.
I saw she was with a clipboard, and I said hi to her, and she was so busy. I just barely got a hello out of her, and she was right back to getting her paperwork ready.
No, so we got to give
is also it's delivered by the postman now. It's not even a delivery now.
That's what I've heard.
Oh man! Hey, is Garfield still open at the mall?
The mall's closed.
The mall's closed.
No, because I got to tell you a great story. Garfield's on Sundays. On Sundays, Garfield's, you could take your kids there and your kids could eat free after church. So I don't know. They had to be like under 6 or something. So Jack was like 10. Aaron was like 9. I said, hey, guys, slump your shoulders and walk in low because you're eating free at Garfield's tonight after church. Oh, man.
That's bad.
Hey, Donnie Bowling kind of coaching his brains out, right? He's doing a good job.
He's doing a good, yeah. We're at Kokomo in 2 weeks. So
oh, that'll be a good one, man.
That'll be tough.
That's the game right there, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
hey, listen,
sectional wise, they should be okay. They should have a good shot at the sectional this year.
Well, here's the thing. You got Greenfield now undefeated.
Yeah, what's that all about? Where's Greenfield getting their players? They've been
they got one junior that's really good. Richmond's lost 2 games. New Pal's really good. In Mount Vernon, they've had some injuries. They're kind of struggling, but
I mean, the great Joey Bradburn in Mount Vernon.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a tough section now. We'll have our work cut out for us.
Yeah, well, we'll be. So every time I look at the paper on Saturday morning or Sunday morning,
Sunday morning now,
I always want to see that A on the left. I mean, because it's Anderson, it's the beginning of the scores. I'm always looking for that A on the left. I can't tell you, as a former coach there, how happy I am to see Anderson kind of rejuvenated and to see the basketball program back doing really well. Although it is kind of strange to see Basil Malby on the bench. I will say that much, man.
At 83.
At 83 still. And his, the game I saw, the Indians are up by 30. They're playing his 2-3 zone and somebody scores against and he throws his clipboard because he's pissed.
That's him.
Oh, man.
That's him.
Hey, listen, man, you're the best. Thanks for hopping on with us tonight, man. Tell everybody we said hey.
Okay. Right. Take care, guys.
See you, Kim.
That is the great Kim Wood, who's been in your corner your whole life.
I've been around him since we were kids.
Yeah, hey, some high school girls action here as we kind of wrap it up. Some regional actions here.
Well, yeah. I had girls sectional this week. I was over at West Noble for the 3A sectional. Our other crew with Broadcast Sport was over at Northridge for the 4A sectional. So we had those two covered. And, I'm looking around here. Just for example, statewide in 4A, 1, 2, 3, 4 of the teams in the top 10 got beat. There was a big upset. Homestead over in the Fort Wayne area beat Columbia City. That was an upset. Bedford North Lawrence is one of the best teams around. They and Jennings County played each other. Noblesville, who's one of the best teams in the state, had to play Southeastern. Again, sectionals 8 and 10 down in there, like Lawrence North area.
So Southeastern beat Noblesville?
Yes.
Oh man.
No, they got beat by Noblesville.
Oh, okay.
They're out.
Okay.
But up here, Northridge plays. So I'm just looking here. Number 1's Lawrence Central. They play Mount Vernon at Decatur Central this coming weekend. The regionals are now 1 game section or 1 games. They're 1 game. So you're runner up right now before you play.
Okay, you get the ball.
Yeah, you get to take the basketball home.
No, hey, if you got 11 balls, there's your 12th ball for the season next year.
We got one.
Kidding me?
Back in 98. We got it. We were runner up.
I got all the balls, either the sectional championship balls or runner up. I got them all at the crib, man. I got them at the crib.
There you go.
I don't even bounce them out. They're just on like shelves, man. It's really cool.
Defending state champ BNL gets to host a regional, and they play Center Grove. Last year, I saw Fort Wayne Snyder play. They play Noblesville. That will be a great game Saturday down at Marion. Number 4, Fort Wayne Snyder and Noblesville. Northridge up here in our area.
Yeah, so we had
Valpo.
So we had some local teams in that Northridge one, right? We had
that's
Penn,
where Penn was.
Elkhart,
the Elkharts, Concord. Everybody east of Mishawaka went to Northridge.
Yeah, and that was a high-powered sectional, right?
Yes, it was a good sectional. So I'll get to see Northridge and Valpo at LaPorte on Saturday. So I'll be over at LaPorte. We got a 4A regional. Franklin's down at BNL. They play Evansville, Homestead, McCutcheon, and then South Bend, Washington, who's been to the state finals here a couple of times. that'll be a great game at LaPorte. They play Lake Central. That's Joe Huppenthal's team. Lake Central beat South Bend last year over at Huntington in the semi-state.
So it's the 4th straight sectional championship for the Panthers.
South Bend, yes.
The Great Western Form, right?
Exactly. The 3A, which up here in our area, the 3A regional will be over at Jimtown. Right now, Hamilton Heights is number 1. They play Woodland down at LaPel. Norwell is going to Caston to play Benton Central.
Okay.
So those are considered north. And Benton Central's number 7, so you got number 7 and number 2 playing each other in 3A.
Who's playing at Jimtown?
You've got Northwood.
So Northwood's still alive.
Northwood, that's where I was the other day. I saw Northwood beat Fairfield. And those two little schools, I drove
but
all
I
the way
wouldn't
over
call
to
Northwood a little school anymore.
You know, Northwood's got things going, both guys and girls.
I know they do.
They've been doing very well. So
New Prairie's still alive.
Yes. So here's over at Jimtown, you're going to have Hanover Central from the region. They play Bremen. Bremen had a huge upset. They beat Tippy Valley the other night in the sectional. Bremen's 14-11, but they won the sectional.
All right, that's a beautiful thing.
That's the object of the game. And then New Prairie plays Northwood. So those will be your 2 games over at Jimtown.
So Amy Litka's team at New Prairie is 20-5, and they will play Northwood 19-6.
And those two, that should be a dandy ball game.
So Amy Litka is a South Bend St. Joe graduate.
Yes, she is.
State champion, I want to say.
Right. 05, I believe.
Yes, but former South Bend St. Joe Indian. Mm-hmm. Now, could it be South Bend St. Joe Buffaloes? Really?
You're a Buffalo. Don't start that again.
Could it be a Ram or could it be a Husky? What about a Bernedoodle? South Bend St. Joe Bernedoodle.
I already told you what I thought they should be. I said they should be the Joeys.
I thought they should be the Friars.
You got the Jimtown Jimmies. You got St. John Johnnies. Why can't they be the St. Joe Joeys?
That's a good one. Or the St. Joe Friars.
Friars.
What about some local boys basketball? You got
Carpenters.
The Carpenters. Yeah, Karen and Richard.
Oh, Lord.
Give me some of your boys top 10.
Locally.
Yes.
The South Bend Tribune's got Concord number 1. Concord's won 10 in a row. And the coaches I've talked to, they are playing great defense right now.
No, they're like 44 points a game.
Yeah, and it's legit. It's not because they're holding the ball, it's because they're making stops.
But we wouldn't really, if you're going to go with the power rankings, they wouldn't be number 1 because of their strength of schedule.
So the Tribune's got them. The eye test says Concord is number 1. They've won 10 in a row. Penn, Riley, Mishawaka, Northwood, Northridge. Those guys, St. Joe, Marion. Those first 8, you can put them in any order.
Yeah. So St. Joe's now winning some games, 11-7, and Robbie Berger, after being maybe 4-8. He is now 10-8 and running through the end of the NIC schedule.
Yeah.
So he's got 1 loss in the NIC after beating Penn.
They've got 3 conference games this week.
Well, I mean, they close out their season with conference games.
Yes.
So theoretically,
they'll be ready to
you
play.
could have a 3-way tie in that NIC with Riley, Penn, and Marion.
And that's who the power rankings are right now.
Right there.
If you look at the Sagarin ratings right now, Riley's the best team around according to the computer. Then Penn, then Marion, then St. Joe, then Concord's 5th. And then Warsaw, Mishawaka, Northridge.
Yeah,
Northwood,
so I had a great game last Thursday. Mishawaka beat Warsaw in overtime.
I saw highlights of that.
And that was a great game. And what sets Mishawaka apart, Mishawaka's 12-4 right now. What sets Mishawaka apart from a lot of teams is the fact that they can really, really defend. They give up 44 a game. And their inside defense, Brady Fisher, just does a great job. They got the best glue guy I've seen in a long time. And when I say glue guy, you know exactly what I mean. That guy that does everything for the team, dives on every loose ball, takes 100 charges. That glue guy is Cooper Pritchett, and he does it all.
He does it all. He's a good player.
Yes.
And we're looking here tomorrow night. You've got ball games, and it's interesting. In the area, Warsaw plays the Marion Giants.
Yeah,
on Tuesday. But like you said, and Mishawaka goes to Chesterton.
Yes, they do.
That'll be a great
the
game.
Mishawaka Fairfield game got canceled. So Chesterton had an opening, and
They said, let's play.
And Bodie said, hey, man, playing good competition right now will make us better for the end of the year.
That's
so
right. So
they're playing.
Friday's your conference games. Concord at Northridge. That would probably be for first place.
Yes.
And we'll see how good Concord is, because I saw Northridge Saturday afternoon. They're good. They've got a 6'6" kid inside. They've got
As
3
a sophomore,
shooters.
yes.
Yeah, and they're young.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
No, I saw Northridge beat Mishawaka at Northridge. So you got
And they can
Concord
shoot it.
with a loss. You got Mishawaka at Northwood with a loss. So I think that Concord and Mishawaka will be determined this weekend.
You've got 2 good ball games there.
Yep.
So
hey,
so I think,
man,
we could go on, but we probably need to go home.
We could go on. We have food behind us. I can smell it. Let me just quickly go through real quickly our 2 main sponsors. Hahn Funeral Home, located on West 8th Street in Mishawaka. Pat Hahn, the owner, they are the absolute best. As you can see it on your screen right there. It's a very difficult time when you lose a family member or you lose somebody, and the people at Hahn Funeral are very, very professional and very good. And then Tony Letcher at Health Markets Insurance. Tony is the absolute best on your screen right now. So please visit and patronize our sponsors. We have Frick's Driving School. We have the Black Sedan Band. We have our realtors.
We got a
that
realtor.
we have. And it's just,
been
they're
very
the
lucky.
reason, and they're the reason that we're able to have this show and produce this show and be on the air. So when you get a chance to visit some of those sponsors, please do, and mention that you heard about them from Coach's Corner with a couple of slaps, Heck and King.
Next week, we'll talk about a little bit about the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
And then we've got next Saturday night, IU and Purdue.
Yeah,
round
rematch.
2. The rematch is at Mackey on Saturday night. So we'll talk about that and might say something that somebody else hasn't said yet.
Well, and we'll have some regional finals in the girls basketball.
Right.
We'll have the boys team will be winding it down, and I don't think they'll have sectional pairings yet next week, but the following week.
So we'll be able to talk about those Northern Lakes and the NIC. Have both got some games that are going to start weeding people out and finding out who really is.
I think in the Northern Lakes it's the last conference game. Well, no, and I say that, but Mishawaka has to go to Wawasee, and Lou could beat anybody at Wawasee.
But this week, the 4 best teams are playing each other this week.
Yes, they are. With Warsaw being out of it with 3 losses now.
And hopefully I can get my face taken care of.
Hey, before we go,
but what else?
Yeah.
Your face looks great.
One more.
It's only a face your mother would love.
That's me.
That's Pat.
One more comment from Chad says Indiana needs to hire Alford. If not Alford, Scott Skiles. Otherwise, IU will continue to be inferior to Butler. Not even inferior to Purdue.
Oh my!
Oh boy! Oh boy!
They've got Indiana State. Last I saw, they had Indiana State as the 2nd best team in the state.
Yeah,
ahead of Butler, ahead of Notre Dame, ahead
Indiana State's getting some votes in the AP poll.
I know.
Yeah, Indiana State's playing well, and we all know. So we all know about Notre Dame. It's going to take Notre Dame a year or 2 for Micah Shrewsbury to get his guys there, but they do play the right way.
Yeah,
they play the right way. They just don't have enough to win games at the end. But when he gets his guys there, he's a Purdue guy. He's a Boston Celtics guy. He's a
Micah could get Penn State to be a contender in the Big Ten, then he'll have Notre Dame just fine.
Give him a chance.
He will.
The problem is they go to Duke on Wednesday night. They've got They've got a home game Saturday against Virginia Tech. So hopefully,
they're going to continue to be in games early, but then down the stretch they'll get blasted. But that's what happens when you coach college basketball and you're retooling a roster.
Yeah, he came in, the cupboard was bare. That's for sure.
Hey Scott, we want to thank you again. You've done a great job with us again, man. Be safe on your flight tomorrow back to Dallas. Pat, you're the best, man. Don't worry about your face, man.
You guys got to worry about. You guys got to work on that handshake. That was bad.
Here, wait a minute.
There we go. How's that? Not bad, right there.
Well,
not bad.
Yeah,
but anyway,
just do that.
Yeah.
One more comment from
Oh, that's the wife.
One more comment from a lady named Sophia. She says, "Go Dogs," to dovetail off of Butler.
She's a Butler girl. Good for
We
her.
like that. We love Sophia too. She's cool, man. She's your wife, so we love her too.
Tell her you'll be home tomorrow.
I love my wife, Monica. You love Becky.
There we go.
We got Valentine's game coming up. We got Valentine's Day
Next week.
next week.
Next
It's
week.
not
Also,
this.
Ash Wednesday.
I know. I gotta go.
Above.
I gotta go in the morning, like 6 a.m. because Valentine's at night, and I'm going to take Monica to watch Notre Dame play on Valentine's Day night because Raheem Brayton, who played for us at Mishawaka, is on that Notre Dame team now.
Sure.
So I got to get over
Check
there.
him
But,
out.
hey, thanks, Scott. You're the best. Patrick, you're the best. We'll catch you all next week on Coach's Corner from Bar Louie's, the great Bar Louie's. All right, man. Thanks.
We're out.
Mamba out.
You know, I exercise a little bit and I got a little old tight butt. It ain't big enough to hit this tambourine on, but I'm gonna try. Well, this thing called love, I can't handle it with this thing called love. See, I love you around to me, I ain't ready. Well, this thing called love, well, they